Throughout history, cameras have done more than just capture moments. They've frozen mysteries in time. Some of these snapshots are so baffling that even the sharpest minds can't offer an explanation. From shadowy figures that shouldn't exist to inexplicable phenomena, are they tricks of the eye, clever hoaxes, or glimpses into something far more unsettling? One thing's for sure, these images raise more questions than answers. Join us as we explore the mysteries that science just can't explain. Here are 20 historical photos which even scientists can't explain. Naga fireballs. Every year, the Mekong River hosts an astonishing display that has captivated and confused both residents and tourists. The Naga fireballs, known as Mekong lights, these brilliant spheres are said to ascend from the river's depths into the night sky, creating an ethereal spectacle. These crimson lights, which range from little sparkles to basketball-sized orbs, soar hundreds of meters before disappearing into thin air. On certain evenings, you can see anywhere from a few dozen to thousands of these elusive fireballs. Traditionally, the phenomenon is associated with the fabled Phaya-Nak, a huge serpent thought to live in the Mekong. Locals usually see the fireballs during Wanok Phansa, the end of Buddhist Lent in late October, especially near Phon Phisai in the Phon Phisai district. Surprisingly, the fireballs, previously known as ghost lights, only gained their formal name in the mid-1980s, despite their unexplained presence having been reported for millennia. And speaking of weird, did you know that an alien is buried on Mars? Alien face on Mars. Mars is known for its enthralling scenery and strange topography, but nothing has captured the imagination quite like the so-called face on Mars. When NASA's Viking 1 mission returned photographs of the Martian surface in 1976, one photograph from the Cydonia region revealed a rocky formation that resembled a human face. As Viking 1 orbited Mars looking for a landing site, it accidentally discovered a pile of pebbles with facial features. The government subtly rejected it as an optical illusion, describing it as a huge rock formation, but the public was unconcerned. Conspiracy theories arose, with some fans claiming that this shape was the vestige of an extraterrestrial society, implying the ruins of a disintegrating alien city concealed beneath the Martian dust. Over the decades, the face has sparked infinite fascination and prompted questions. What do you think? Could Mars have supported intelligent life, or was it our home before we left it? Tell us in the comments section below. SS Watertown Ghost. In December 1924, two sailors, James Courtney and Michael Meehan, died tragically while cleaning an oil tanker's cargo tank. Their deaths, caused by hazardous gas vapors, laid the groundwork for something much more disturbing. Following a traditional sea burial, the crew believed they had said their final goodbyes. However, the following day, the entire ship was thrown into chaos. The faces of the two deceased sailors emerged in the waves, bobbing near the vessel. For days, the crew witnessed Courtney and Meehan's faces appear and disappear in the ship's wake. Captain Tracy, armed with a camera on a return cruise, caught an incredible shot of the two spectral creatures. The image was submitted for professional development, and family members could easily identify the sailors' pale faces. Despite numerous disputes, investigators have struggled to refute the photographs. Was it a collective hallucination, or did the restless ghosts of the SS Watertown genuinely haunt the Pacific waters? Nike shoes in 1652. What if I told you that an artwork produced 400 years ago has started a debate that may cause you to doubt the fundamental nature of time? The masterwork known as Portrait of a Boy, created by a Dutch artist in 1652, is at the center of this mystery. While some commentators believe it represents the artist's 8-year-old son, others believe it shows the progeny of a wine merchant. But let's be honest, the actual hero of this painting isn't the youngster, but his shoes. Look attentively, and you might discover something surprising. Those aren't just any shoes. No, they're extremely similar to a pair of modern black Nike trainers, complete with the distinctive tick emblem. Intrigued? You should be. This artwork precedes the athletic shoe company by 300 years. Nike was founded in 1964, long after our painter was working with his brush. So, how did a boy from 17th century Holland wind up wearing what appears to be a 21st century brand? The presence of these Nike shoes in a historical picture begs the question, what will we uncover next? Hessdalen lights. We've all heard about the lovely aurora lights that decorate the skies of the northern regions, but the Hessdalen lights, located in central Norway's secluded Hessdalen Valley, are equally compelling. Since at least the 1930s, these mysterious lights have captivated locals and visitors, displaying a brilliant mix of bright whites, yellows, and reds. They can appear both during the day and at night, floating smoothly through the valley and racing across the sky at incredible speeds. The pinnacle of activity occurred between December 1981 and mid-1984, when sightings reached 15 to 20 per week, attracting interested travelers anxious to witness the phenomenon firsthand. However, by 2010, the frequency of sightings had dropped to 10 to 20 per year, raising the question of whether these lights were fading into legend. Project Hessdalen, founded in 1983 by UFO enthusiasts from Norway and Sweden, launched investigations. Subsequent efforts, such as the Triangle Project, captured images of lights moving in mesmerizing pyramid formations. In 1998, the Hessdalen Automatic Measurement Station was established to track these odd phenomena, but despite decades of observation and research, no explanations have been discovered. Floating city. Imagine looking up into the sky and seeing a whole metropolis hanging in the clouds. In October 2015, inhabitants of Fosun, China, were treated to a stunning yet disturbing sight, a ghostly metropolis floating above them. The angular contours and flat tops of buildings made it impossible to dismiss this view as little more than a cloud formation. Eyewitnesses stated that this cosmic beauty persisted for several minutes before fading without a trace, leaving a trail of amazement and astonishment in its wake. Theories began to swirl like the clouds that had housed this apparition. Some theorized that the residents of Fosun had caught a momentary glimpse of a parallel world colliding with our own, while others spoke of an alien invasion seeking to enter our reality. Nonetheless, some attributed it to a mirage or a complex optical illusion. A few days later, a similar floating metropolis appeared in Jiangxi province, reigniting debate over what these ethereal constructions could imply. The copper falling body. In the 1950s, a seemingly regular family photograph became a terrifying mystery known as the copper falling body. The image captures a happy moment, a smiling family gathered in a bright backyard, laughing, captured in time. However, something unsettling lurks in the background. A strange person appears to be suspended in mid-fall, casting an unnerving shadow over the scene. The family, blissfully ignorant of the frightening presence, didn't notice anything unusual during the capture, sparking endless debate regarding the identity of the fallen body. Who is this apparition, and why does it only appear in photographs? Was it a sad event, an optical illusion, or something more supernatural? For decades, amateur sleuths and paranormal fans have been drawn to this image's frightening quality. While some dismiss it as a mere trick of light, others believe it conveys a tragic story. As you look at the image, you can't help but feel a chill run down your spine. Mothman rises again. The story of the Mothman in Point Pleasant sends shivers down the spine of anybody who hears it. This fascinating monster, known for its brilliant red eyes and huge wings, has captivated imaginations and inspired several myths. A man driving down State Route 2 was pulled off the road, eyes wide in surprise. He saw something extraordinary, an eerie figure soaring from tree to tree. In an act of impulsiveness, he grabbed his camera and photographed the figure, ensuring that this encounter would not be forgotten. When pressed for more information, the man remained evasive, rejecting an on-camera interview, but saying that the images were unaltered, pure evidence of what he had witnessed. He had unknowingly entered a story woven into the fabric of local lore. In the images, the creature's wings tapered to sharp points, and its lengthy legs bent abnormally. Locals, including Carolyn Harris, were torn between skepticism and belief. "I definitely knew the Mothman was real," she said, her confidence bolstered by years of whispered stories and shadows fluttering just out of sight. As interest grew, one issue remained. Has the Mothman returned to reclaim its spot in the skies of Point Pleasant? World War II. Cell phone. In a seemingly regular World War II shot, a man stands in the background, his hand to the side of his face. At first sight, it appears to be nothing unusual, but closer scrutiny reveals that something is amiss. Could he be clutching a mobile? Many people are puzzled by this shot, which was taken 30 years before the first Motorola mobile phone was produced in 1973. Some skeptics claim he's simply scratching his ear or holding a pipe, while others believe he's checking his watch. But here's where things get interesting. The man is standing exactly next to a watch shop, adding an unsettling degree of coincidence to the mystery. Nonetheless, the concept of a man using a cell phone in the 1940s has piqued conspiracy theorists' interest, who wonder if this is proof of time travel. Could this grainy photograph be proof that a future person was captured mid-call in the midst of a war-torn city? When you consider the timing of the snapshot and the strange hand gesture that doesn't quite match any of the regular suspects, the more rational answers seem to disappear. What is the true story behind this shot, and how might it relate to future technology? This riddle has more depth than we might expect. Madonna and UFO. For centuries, A picture in Florence has captivated viewers, and it's not simply because of its holy beauty. Domenico Ghirlandaio's 15th century painting, The Madonna with Saint Giovannino, contains a mystery that continues to provoke arguments today. A weird oval-shaped object floats in the sky directly above Madonna's left shoulder, but it doesn't end there. Beneath it, a man stares up in astonishment, his dog barking frantically at the unusual figure. Was Ghirlandaio implying anything otherworldly? Some claim that this enigmatic object is an antique image of a UFO hiding in plain sight among religious art, while others think that the shape is simply a representation of a heavenly presence, such as an angel or a nativity star. However, the uncanny likeness to recent UFO reports keeps imaginations running wild. What exactly did Ghirlandaio see or know that he immortalized in this painting? It's a mystery that continues to perplex art lovers and UFO enthusiasts alike. Stanley Hotel Ghost. Imagine taking a holiday snapshot and discovering an unexpected guest of the ghostly sort. That's exactly what Henry Yao experienced during his visit to Colorado's famous Stanley Hotel, which served as the eerie inspiration for the 1980 horror masterpiece, The Shining. Yao photographed the hotel's grand staircase, hoping to capture the spooky mood. But when he looked at the photo again, he discovered something new, a ghostly figure clothed in old-fashioned garb at the top of the steps. According to Yao, the stairs were absolutely vacant when he took the photo. If that wasn't eerie enough, a paranormal specialist later stated the photo contained two ghosts, a woman in black and a faint child standing alongside her. The Stanley Hotel has already welcomed extraterrestrial visitors. With a history of spirit occurrences, the hotel even provided ghost adventure packages for the most daring of costumers. Paranormal investigators flock here, claiming it is one of the most haunted places in the United States. But this could just be a warm-up. Another spine-chilling mystery awaits, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Strange linen mill photograph. Imagine discovering a century-old snapshot that not only depicts a moment in time, but also raises chilling questions about what lies beyond our perception. This haunting black and white image shows 15 teenage girls happily standing in their work uniforms at a mill in Belfast. For the group image, the majority of the girls have their arms folded in front of them with composed and serious features. However, closer investigation reveals a disturbing feature that raises the hairs on the back of your neck. A young woman in the third row, far right, has a claw-like hand resting on her shoulder. The woman behind her stands with her arms crossed, indicating that the strange appendage does not belong to her. The hand appears to rest lightly on the girl's back, as if it were a friendly arm in a side-on embrace. Yet, the sight is far from comfortable. As the photo is enlarged, the frightening details become more apparent: the bend of the fingers, the sharp curve of the nails, all implying an unwelcome presence. What or who was this strange hand? The shot makes us rethink the distinction between the living and the spectral. Aliens and satellites. For over 120 years, conspiracy theorists have believed that the Black Knight, an extraterrestrial satellite, is quietly orbiting Earth. According to enthusiasts, this mystery object is not just space trash, but an alien spacecraft stationed in near-polar orbit to study humans. The evidence they present is a strange mix of radio signals, odd images, and dubious government denials that, when combined, paint a persuasive picture of a possible cover-up. In 1998, NASA's space shuttle mission STS-88 recorded a series of photos that astonished the globe, giving the story of the Black Knight new life. The photos depicted a black, unidentified object hanging ominously over Earth's atmosphere. NASA classified the item as space trash, but the mysterious appearance of the Black Knight in these photographs sparked a frenzy among conspiracy theorists. Was this the proof they'd been looking for? Despite NASA's answers, the photos reignited arguments and fueled fantasies. Is this the ultimate proof of extraterrestrial spying? Or is it simply a misinterpreted piece of space debris? With each successive sighting, the enigma deepens and new questions arise. But this may merely be the beginning. Solway Firth Spaceman. In 1964, on what appeared to be a calm family outing, one of the most perplexing images of the century was captured. Jim Templeton, a firefighter from Carlisle, England, photographed his young daughter enjoying a day in the fields near the Solway Firth. However, after the photograph was processed, a weird apparition appeared behind her, resembling a spaceman. Jim stated that no one else was present when he shot the photograph. The enigmatic figure had scientists scratching their heads. Investigations into the photos revealed no traces of alteration, and despite numerous suggestions, no one has been able to determine who or what the person is. Was it only an optical illusion? A hoax? Or could it be evidence of something considerably more amazing, something from another world? the Solway Firth spaceman continues to scare and enchant people today, leaving us with more questions than solutions. If this snapshot gives you shivers, wait for the next inexplicable enigma. Time traveler. Are you a fan of time travel? Imagine discovering a snapshot that appears to transfer you between periods. In a dramatic black and white photo from 1941, a crowd gathers to commemorate the reopening of the South Forks Bridge in Goldbridge, British Columbia, following a terrible flood. At first glance, it appears to be a basic historical moment, but one figure sticks out, throwing an enigmatic shadow over the scene. This man, positioned in the center right corner, detracts from the gathering's vintage charm. Clad in odd goggles, a branded shirt, and clutching a little camera that is far too modern for the time, he exudes intrigue that is impossible to ignore. When the photograph emerged online in the early 2000s and 10s, it sparked a frenzy of curiosity. Was this man simply an eccentric local, or could he be something more intriguing? A time traveler caught in a candid moment? Social media buzzed with speculations, each user searching for clues concealed in this strange photograph. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. This eerie photograph that baffled modern scientists and historians was taken by a photographer in 1903. This unique photograph of the Kexholm Regiment, consisting of around 1,250 men lined up in 25 rows, is incredibly clear and defined for that era. A photographic plate of 65 by 110 centimeters made it possible to clearly reproduce both entire groups and individual faces of soldiers. The size of the photo itself is roughly 42 by 94 centimeters. Even with the latest technology and advanced cameras, it's nearly impossible to replicate this amount of detail. On zooming in, scientists discovered that the faces of all the people in the photo are clearly visible, they can be easily identified, and even their mustaches, moles, and cigarette holders can be clearly seen. The photo was taken on the occasion of the retirement of their regiment commander. They prepared all day for the photo shoot, and a special scaffolding was built for the photographer that lifted up his bulky camera. Monster on Hook Island. Hook Island, located off the coast of Australia, is noted for its breathtaking coral reefs and tranquil beauty. However, in 1964, it became known for something considerably more disturbing: a sea monster. This paradise was once the site of a rare event in cryptozoology. It all started when French photographer Robert Le Sirec and his wife saw a massive snake-like creature while sailing near Stonehaven Bay. They initially judged the thing to be around 30 feet long, but as they got closer, the real size of the beast became clear: nearly 90 feet of shadowy, terrifying form flowing easily beneath the water's surface. Le Sirec took multiple photos, each showing an enormous eel-like figure with distinct features. For starters, the size dwarfed any known sea monster in the vicinity, and the images, despite their graininess, were chillingly realistic. Even more remarkable, Hook Island has no history of such monsters. Unlike it, Scotland's Loch Ness Monster has puzzled cryptozoologists. Some scientists suggested it was a surviving archaic species, others suspected a hoax to attract attention. Decades later, the mystery remains unresolved. Cave creature. Have you ever gone on a casual trip with friends only to uncover something terrifying? In the mid-90s, two friends visiting a cave in Ras Al Lima experienced just that. While exploring the dark, eerie depths, they claimed to have spotted a strange, unsettling creature. Quickly documenting the encounter, they snapped a photo, but they were startled by a boy's blood-curdling scream echoing through the cave. Disturbed, they reported the incident to the authorities, leading to a police search that uncovered a human body within the cave. The chilling photo soon spread across the globe after the photographer sold it to an advertiser. It captivated people everywhere. Yet despite the international buzz, no one has been able to definitively explain what lurked in the cave that day. To this day, the mystery remains unsolved, leaving people to wonder what really happened deep within those shadows. Falcon Lake Incident. In 1697, Stefan Michalak had an event that would make any UFO enthusiast's heart race. Imagine you're wandering around Falcon Lake, Canada, and you find a flying saucer. Stefan claimed he was so close to the mysterious thing that he could almost touch it. However, it did not end well. When the UFO took off, it pushed him to the ground. He was left with more than just a story to tell. Stefan's statements took an unexpected turn. He claimed that he had suffered burns from the vessel's exhaust. What's the evidence? His abdomen and chest bore grid-like patterns, like in sci-fi horror films. Doesn't this sound like something out of a movie? However, Stefan's experience did not end there. He became seriously ill as a result of the encounter, but the exact reason for his illness is still unknown. As investigators debated Stefan's burns and a possible alien cause, one question remained: what happened that day at Falcon Lake? Was Stefan simply the victim of an overworked imagination, or did he experience something supernatural? The mystery of Rupkund Lake. Imagine a tranquil lake high in the Himalayas. Echoes from the past resonate among the peaks. Rupkund Lake, at about 16,000 feet, is breathtaking, but it hides a terrifying mystery called the Lake of Skeletons. This spooky site gained fame in 1942 when a British forest warden found multiple human skeletons on its freezing shores. It was assumed that these corpses were Japanese soldiers killed in the war. However, this notion took a turn in 2004 when experts discovered the bones dated back to 850 before Christ. The mystery remains: who are these people, and what brought them to this lonely lake? When the ice melts in summer, it reveals skeletal remains that entice adventurers to explore their mysteries. You wonder what happened at Rupkund Lake as you gaze into the clear waters. Phoenix lights. It was a peaceful March evening in 1997 when something strange lit up the Arizona sky. Thousands saw an unexplainable sight: strange lights floating in silence above them. That night, two unique events occurred, each more strange than the previous. The first, a huge V-shaped light, moved slowly across the state from Prescott to Phoenix. It created a menacing shadow and stunned witnesses. Some described it as a massive vessel, too vast to grasp, softly sailing across the heavens. But then a second enigma emerged. A chain of motionless lights hung in the night sky above Phoenix. These lights stayed for a while, as if observing, before fading into the darkness. Experts scrambled to explain the situation. Were they military flares, a top-secret government plane, or something even more mysterious? The official explanation blamed it on flares from a training exercise, but some witnesses were not convinced. The Phoenix lights are a mystery decades later. They spark endless debates among skeptics and believers. The fundamental question is, what did they actually observe that night? What do you think? Tell us in the comments section below. We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more.